Well, I think I failed you. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 42 of the Showerpodcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host, Chip, and first of all, I don't know if I'm happy, but the previous episode went extremely well. This, let's say, shows a bit of... sorry to interrupt again, but I hate that this thing always keeps on jumping on me, and this being the curtain of the shower. Anyway, sorry for the for the brief moment that every time it gets me. So I was saying, I don't know if I'm really happy because, as I would have imagined, clickbaiting and let's say posting stuff on the wave of the hype, it's always worth it. I just need to, decide if it's really what I want to do. The good thing is that I haven't discussed, let's say, merely about those things. It was indeed something that, let's say, I expanded upon. But at the same time, it still feels a bit dirty knowing that there is that possibility of just being able to trick, somebody and... just leveraging these topics at your own convenience. But today's topic is going to be, let's say, way more personal. Actually, I think it's going to be one of the most in-depth episodes about my day, mostly because I have to be fully transparent and fully honest. If it wasn't for the podcast, for recording the episode daily and all that, I would have done nothing. And I was very close to not doing it, but I have to say it's close to impossible at this point not do it. I would feel so guilty, especially knowing that, let's say, there wasn't anything happening. I did it when I got my injury, when I wasn't feeling good. I have to do it on a normal day. The problem is that these days exist, and those are the days where you just don't want to do nothing. When you are super unproductive, when you're super slow, when you're just not at your best and you're like, what is happening? And the reality is that there isn't really something happening. It's just that this is life. You have those days and you have to accept them. And at the same time, once again, because, I'm happy when I'm able to prove myself wrong. Having something like this, a daily task to which you have to stick to, really can change your perspective. Now, did I procrastinate it until, let's say, very late? Yes. And also something that I will, let's say, try to get back to is also the regular scheduling. From that famous weekend, it was the last weekend, when, I gifted myself the possibility of, I rewarded myself, with the possibility of posting whenever I wanted to. Well, it turns out that this wasn't the best idea. Because now I'm saying, I can post it at this time or at that time. I can post it later. And even though it is true, there is nobody telling me when to post it, it's also a bit of self-sabotaging also in that sense, because, I should at least post it in a certain time frame where you can actually enjoy it. If it's going to be like tonight, it's going to be probably posted at 10:30. And and most people won't bother with it, but we'll recover from tomorrow. I can promise you that. Let's say I've seen my mistakes and I'm not gonna go too much into it. Overall, I think this was mainly the topic of today, because I would be also, let's say, it would be not so wise from myself to pick a topic or at something more interesting in a day when I'm like this. So I just have to, be transparent and just look forward and try to find a strategy to get back on track. And as I said, the first task is gonna be normal scheduling once again. For that, I still have to decide properly. I don't know if there is a certain time frame that I necessarily prefer. For sure, the one that lets me do it at best and be more consistent is the one publishing the episode at 8 in the morning, because I have to do it the night before. I mean, at least the editing. So that helps. At the same time, though, it's not the best for engagement. I mean, it gets a bit lost. So I think also around lunch would be ideal. I think that, and maybe this is what I'm going to stick to also with the one for tomorrow. Around 3 p.m. 3 p.m. sounds reasonable, because, you have the whole evening to enjoy it, and also you can catch up in the morning, and then there's going to be a new episode at lunch. So I think I'll stick to that, and we'll see how it goes. When and if there's going to be a bit more traction, I will try to also set a poll and see if there is a preference to when you're listening to this. Another thing that I would like to add, and it's maybe to down the line, or at least from all the people that will listen to this, make you feel a bit better if you also are having a similar day, is that, for example, when you have these days when you really don't feel like doing anything and you're not, let's say, at your peak, you also lose the focus and the traction on also the other aspects of your life that you try to let's say care about and put effort into, and that for me was, for example, the diet today, because it was the second day in a row that I ordered, and I really didn't have to. I could have easily cooked. I could have easily gone to get groceries and cook something, but I didn't. And I didn't because my level of motivation wasn't there, and so I just gave in, and I was like, yeah, whatever, let's do it. But let's say the small lie that I can tell to myself, it's that I've done it purposefully. So it wasn't something that just happened and that I just accepted, but I recognized the moment and I said, okay, give in. And actually now, these episodes really are not scripted. I don't have, let's say, a schedule. I just try to go and do one take as much as I can. There are some super small edits in case something happens, but let's say it's all very natural, and I really like that. Also, while listening myself to them, I do believe that they give at least it's not a normal podcast, so I'm not talking to somebody. There isn't a very strong editing involved, but if an idea comes to my mind, I try to pick up on it. So before sitting, I try to decide the name of the episode, and try to say something interesting. But what happens after, it's, let's say, all free flow. And I want to bring you the example, and it shows to me that there is always a reason. So I will name the episode, and again, you will have seen that, but this has arrived after. This episode will be named Delice, and I will explain to you why right now. So this was last year. I think it was around summer, something like that. I went to the grocery store to grab some stuff for myself, and I saw a package of Delice. I'm not so much into sweet stuff. Like, I like sweet treats, I like sweet stuff, but if I don't have them around the house, it is in general better, because if I see them, I eat them, but if I don't have them, I really don't care. So yeah, I've also you can see my pineapple socks. So what happened? I saw this Delice and I kind of had a craving, and I was like, okay, let's go for it. But the thing is that there was like an offer, and you had to buy 2 packages, and each package I think had 10 Delice inside, something like that. So the first one, let's say, went pretty normally. I mean, I had one day, then a few days passed, another one, and I had it, for example, with my coffee, because if there is one moment in which I like to eat sweet stuff, is with my coffee. The coffee itself, I don't like it, let's say, with sugar. But if I do have something sweet on the side, I tend to enjoy it more. It's not necessarily to, let's say, reduce the harshness of the coffee. I really do like that. But I don't know, it's just a moment, like a personal treat on a daily basis. And so I was okay with the first package, all went good. And there was a day similar to this one where I was just, my level of self-control was like to the ground, 0. So I started eating one like at 9 a.m. I went and grabbed another one at 10, one at 12, one at 1, one at 3, one at 5. And throughout the whole day, I ate the whole box. And when I was in the middle, because I didn't have lunch, I didn't have anything, I was, let's say, posed with a dilemma. I was like, okay, I've clearly exaggerated. So, after the third one, I was already, let's say, above the normal amount. And I said to myself, how can I handle this? Because if I stop here, I would still feel guilty, let's say, for how many I've eaten. And it's not that you can do something about it. And the thing was that my second question was, are you still craving them? Because that was also, let's say, the more interesting thing. And my response was, yes, I was still kind of craving them. And so I was like, okay, no problem. Just eat as much as you want. Finish them. And that's what happened. But I finished them purposefully. And let's say the trick and the thing that actually worked is that after I had finished them and I was absolutely satiated and I was absolutely, again, full. I've eaten just Kinder Delice for the whole day. I never thought of them till right now. I mean, for the episode, but at the same time, in general, I really haven't had a craving for these Kinder Delice. And maybe it was a bit what I also did today, because when I was like, do you really want to order? The thing is that the response was yes, but it wasn't a yes of, I'm just craving it, I want to eat it. It was more of a, do you want to give in? And again, the response was yes. And I was like, okay, give in, accept it, get the pleasure out of it, but from tomorrow, you get back on track. And this is what is going to happen. Actually, again, promise to you, and I'm also going to do it. I will now take out some of the meat that I have in the freezer, healthy meat, good meat. I will defrost it. So for tomorrow, I have to cook it because otherwise it goes bad. And I will make myself some just regular meat, some vegetables that I'll get from the grocery, and any kind of carb on the side. And that will be my meal for tomorrow. No more, let's say, takeout. And if, I can help you in any special way with this episode, I would say that if you have a day where you clearly don't feel at your best and your level of self-control is very low, look at yourself. Accept the situation, first of all. So be conscious that you are in it. Go for the craving. Do whatever you want to do that day. But let's say at the same time, make a deal with yourself that you give in today to not give in tomorrow. And for me, at least until now, it has worked. I will let you, let's say tomorrow, I'll let you know if it worked. But it's, in my view, the only, let's say, good way. Because otherwise, you'll always feel guilt. You'll always feel bad. And at the end, you'll be like, well, I've done it yesterday, let me do it again. And you enter a cycle that it's way harder to go out of. Whereas if you go all in, accept your fate, and just start fresh tomorrow, you'll be more than fine. This was a crazy long episode. Maybe with some editing, it will be slightly shorter, but still pretty long. But again, I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know if, let's say, if you can relate. So yeah, this was episode 42 of the Showerpodcast. Thank you very much for listening. Leave a like, comment. Let me know if you enjoyed it, and see you at the next one.